Do you know Charles Darwin believed that the best outcome of evolution would be that supposedly superior European races would exterminate the supposedly inferior black Africans. He provided a justification for racial extermination by claiming that it is a good thing because it advances evolution. Hi, I am Shubham Chaudhary, undergraduate from IIT Delhi and data analyst by profession. In this video, I am going to discuss how Darwin fueled racism. Let's not dwell into the credibility of Darwin's theory. That is another topic for discussion. In this video, I am going to discuss how Darwin's biographers Adrian Desmond and James Moore came to this very interesting conclusion that Darwin increased the magnitude of racism by giving it a scientific backing. I will discuss three key concepts in this video. First, how Charles Darwin provided justification to racial domination. Second, inspired by Darwin's theory, many people like Hitler, etc. created havoc in the society. Third, Darwin's belief that women are inferior than men. First, Charles Darwin provided justification to racial domination. The concept of race was critical to Darwinian theory because Darwinism required the conclusion that some races were superior to others and therefore would eventually win out in the struggle for existence. He saw European imperialism. He saw that in Australia, South America, Spain, etc., Europeans were displacing them. Based on these observations, in his book The Descent of Man, he wrote, "At some time, the civilized races of man will exterminate and replace throughout the world the savage races." Darwin consistently called native South Americans and the native Australians as savages and barbarians. Darwin described the Fuegians and other non-Caucasians in his book Voyage of Beagles as savages of the lowest grade and the miserable degraded savages who are living in a savage land in a savage state with a wild cry, and they roam like a wild beasts. Second, inspired by Darwin's theory, many people created havoc in the society. Based on Darwin's theory, Darwin's cousin Francis Galton created eugenics. Eugenics is a set of beliefs and practices that aims to improve the eugenic quality of human population historically by excluding people and groups just to be inferior or promoting those just to be superior. Eugenics was well supported by Darwin as he wrote to Galton on December 3, 1869, "I do not think that I ever in my life read anything more interesting and original work." Adolf Hitler embraced this idea of eugenics and believed that he is doing humanity a favor by killing millions and millions of Jews. Eugenic movement forced sterilized people with mental illnesses, and it was many times done on racial basis. Margaret Sanger, a key person of birth control movement, promoted that people of lower races should adopt birth control so that they don't get many children of inferior races. Many may think that racism was just a bad application of a nice scientific theory given by Darwin. But Darwin's biographer Adrian Desmond and James Moore has proved in their book Darwin, The Life of a Tormented Evolutionist, that racism was an integral part of Darwin's theory and should not be seen as wrong application of the theory. They also wrote a book on Darwin's idea of slavery. Many may claim that Darwin was against slavery, but fact is he was against slavery because that protected lower races from extermination and is inhibiting progress of evolution and were obstacle in triumph of Europeans. 4 years after Darwin published The Origin of Species, Dr. James Hunt turned it into a justification for slavery. In his paper on the Negro's place in nature, he asserted, "Our Bristol and Liverpool merchants perhaps helped to benefit the race when they transported some of them to America." Third, Darwin believed that women are inferior than men. A reading of Darwin's writing and those of his disciples reveal that women's inferiority doctrine was central to early evolution theory. The major justification Darwin gave for his female inferiority conclusion are summarized in his classic work, The Descent of Man. In his book, Darwin argued that males are more evolutionarily advanced than females. He concluded that since female evolution progressed at slower rate than male's evolution, a woman was in essence a stunned man. He also asserted in the same book, The Descent of Man, that man attains a higher eminence in whatever he takes up than can a woman, whether requiring a deep thought, reason or imagination or merely use of senses and hands. These writings clearly shows sexist view of Darwin. We have forgotten the history of scientific racism and sexism, which is integral part of Darwin's theory, yet we are teaching this to our children with utmost pride. We are treating humans as animals and tagging them with different labels without considering their emotional and psychological aspect. So we need to reconsider human values in the society and change the path in which the humanity is moving. Otherwise, the fate of humanity will be very dark. Join our initiative, Science, Spirituality and Atheism, to get such content regularly. Link is in the description. Thank you.